The bottom left of the map here on Ultrazeem Stronghold, it is Kadwa who needs to take this game in order to stay in this series. He's saying, GLHF, don't cheese me this time, okay? Oh, who was the cannon guy who cannon rushed last game? All right, anyway, it was the Protoss player, not the Terran one, I'll give you that.
Okay, the Terran one, who has been accused of cheesing last game. It's the blue Terran, up one in the series, Zrqkyvx. XXX.
Now, in any case, Black Riders don't talk about it. I don't want to learn anything yet. I'm still like in the first two. I'm at like page 200 of the first book.
No spoilers, buddy.
That goes for you watching the series as well. I'll talk about none. I already figured out some things. I don't want to know anymore. All right. So
that's been happening.
Okay, cool. Okay, Radders is being fantastic, bro.
About...
I always suspected he was because he has the Darksiders 2 icon in Skype.
Great. Black Riders, bro.
So both players are sending guys across the map to scout. Zrq has said for some reason and given us an unhappy face. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got supply block for a second or something. I don't know. Oh, maybe he didn't start his barracks on time. Something about that doesn't look quite right. Like with the number of workers he has. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Numbers guy. Ganondorf kills Snape with Rosebud. That would be the most ridiculous crossover I've ever seen.
Just a portal opens at the top of the tower. Ganondorf appears.
And the worker high five.
Oh, not the top of that tower. He would appear at the top of... No, okay, let's not go there. Never mind. Oh, I see what happened. Look at the wall off. That's Zrq's base.
Uh-oh.
That's a Protoss wall off.
Eyesore.
It's a very good Protoss wall off right there.
Yes, it is.
It needs a Marauder in there, though. Marine's a little bit too... Not too... tough.
Maybe he can call Tassadar and ask him to send a Zealot over. Just for this match. Going straight to Cybercore this time for Kadwa, the one gateway, and one gas.
Well, thankfully, Radders, the property is still alive and it hasn't been just sold off. So there may be more Darksiders games in the future. Unfortunately, Vigil will not make them, which is the sad part, because we will not get the same team. Those of you who have not played Darksiders 1 and 2, they're actually fairly cheap on Steam, and you really should. They're like really badass extensions of Zelda combined with things like Shadow of the Colossus and Devil May Cry. So it's a very good game. Very good.
Huh. Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, we've got Nexus. I think Kadwa is planning to do the whole... nice wall off there. Is planning to do the whole carriers thing, just because the fact that he's gathering up this much gas and he still hasn't thrown down really anything else. Like, at least just say I wouldn't be surprised, and it may in fact be hoping for it. If you've concluded that I'm hoping for it, you are correct.
I can safely say
carriers so bad.
I definitely concluded this.
Proxy Factory. This is probably for a Widowmine. This will make a lot of if it's for a Widowmine.
Yes.
By the way, the Widowmine can fit through that little crack in between the wall right there that doesn't have the Zealot. But we'll have a Zealot in a moment. Never mind. So he's going to have to probably lift that over and just plop it down base, build a couple mines, and run away.
So now, if only he had forgotten about that for a few more minutes and there was a Widowmine there instead of a Zealot. And this Widowmine would just get hundreds of kills because the Zealot would try to fill the wall and it would be destroyed. Repeatedly.
So, meanwhile, Kadwa is building a Robo-Bay. I don't know what he's doing. He could be playing Standard, which is like the cheesiest thing of all when you're a really cheesy player. Is to just not do anything weird. Make it so that your opponent is constantly second-guessing himself.
Double Robo. Are we deviating from Standard yet?
Yeah, now we are. I wonder if he's gonna go like War of the Worlds style. which is when you get like 6 Colossus. No, not 6. That's like a normal number. You get 12 Colossus and just walk out.
Except they can't shoot up. Why can't they shoot up?
It's okay. If they kill everything fast enough, good, there's the Robo Bay. It won't matter if they can't shoot up. Now, unfortunately, he does not seem to be getting any detection real quickly, even though he's got some time for that right now. And that could be a problem, because here comes a Widowmine with a proxy starport. Okay. I'm like, it flies and moves really fast. So this is the part of the build where I'm like, you could just build the starport back in your base. It's gonna delay it by maybe 5 seconds. It's not starting the medevac yet. I think we're still waiting on the resources. Just got them. There you go. Yeah. It's actually fairly nicely done so far, except for the fact that he's supply blocked.
Immortals and Warp Prism. Some potential with a Warp Prism. Harassment.
Yeah, that can do some work as long as he doesn't. Yeah, no, that can do a lot of work. Except the decent number of Marines in here right now. So I think until he goes onto a third base, the Warp Prism drops probably wouldn't do much.
Unless it was an Immortal drop.
This is very technical, what he's attempting. I like it.
I don't know. Oh, yep, there goes the first Immortal. Oh.
So if you guys have never seen a Mass Immortal army, it actually beats everything on ground, pretty much, except for Mass Marine. Which, unfortunately, is kind of what Zrqkyvx is doing. So, yeah. He's got the setup for Colossus, but hasn't started just quite yet. This mine's just kind of hanging out. This other mine is in the base now, is burrowing, and boom.
5 kills.
Nice.
Kado's drop is fended off by a lone missile turret. And the starport is making the long trip home.
Oh, the entire army of Zrqkyvx is leaving the base. This is exactly the worst time to do that, because here comes the drop from Godwell, which is definitely going to scare these few units away. He's going to start warping in some more stuff. He's got a couple stalkers in there. There you go. Drop those out of the warp prism. Here comes the attack. He's going to get rid of the detection first. The potential to be annoying later with Dark Templar. They'll also convince the entire army of Zrqkyvx to go back home to deal with this. Warp Prism's gonna maybe run away with the Immortal. Just thinking about it. Nope, it's gonna drop it back off. It's like, wait, you don't have enough here to deal with this yet. Oh, there comes an army. Run away, save the Zealot. Go! Anyway, as a result of both of that, Zrqkyvx has killed about 9 workers, and it's still going up, which means that Widowmine is still there. Yep. And and Godwell has killed 5, but unfortunately his harassment has stopped. So I think Zrqkyvx is probably in pretty good position from here. Here comes the lone Colossus to come deal with the Widowmine, but there's no detection yet. So here comes the Observer to back up the Colossus. And this probe here is just going to hang on to this gas, because the Protoss forces don't really need it. It's another Colossus up here.
Yeah.
Gateways. Another probe is just like, what? What do you want from me? I'm just going to be here. Right next to these gateways. You can deal with it. It's fine.
I'm just gonna... Yeah, this extra gas is for later.
What you looking at me like? This is for me. This is not for you. I like gas.
We're all gas hungry. Both players content to macro up at this point. Kadoa going for extended thermal lance, is continuing to build his Colossus count. Warp Prism heading back. Gonna poke in, see what's going on. There's a huge space uncovered by a missile turret there.
To be honest, guys, when I said that, like, tons of Immortals beat basically everything, I was actually thinking back to a mono battle. It happened on the daily once, where I can't remember exactly who got Mass Immortal, but it was pretty unfair unless there was something flying around. That doesn't necessarily mean it's invulnerable to everything on ground. Obviously, I think a well-compositioned army will still beat it, but still, when you're massing up them units, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
A couple Zealots dropped in for Kadoa here, being extremely annoying. The entire army has to move back.
So this Widowmine's like, I got this, and then Sal's like, okay, I'm gonna run towards your army then.
Zealots, where's the Warp Prism? Oh crap.
No! Why did you abandon us? Anyway, despite all this, Kadwa is actually 10 workers ahead of his opponent right now.
Also supply blocked at the, this moment in time.
I'm sure he'll get on that in a moment. There it is. 3 more pylons coming out.
Yes.
But yep, pretty good. It's got some Colossus in there. And yeah, basically this is looking like a somewhat normalish game at the moment, which I'm a bit surprised by. I mean, a little interesting. It had pepperings of crazy stuff in it with the Warp Prism and the Widow Mine Drop. It's good. It's good. But neither player has died, so now they're going to have to do something different. That's what I like about this. This is my favorite situation, is when the cheesy stuff doesn't kill the other person. Because then you've got a new thing, where you get to see stuff like people putting missile turrets in front of their gas geysers so they won't be able to mine properly from them. That happens. Also,
Forge.
+1
nice.
shield and shield. Interesting. Wait, does he have armor already? No, I don't think.
I don't see it.
No, okay, that's pretty interesting. If he's doing that and he intends to switch into air later, that makes sense. Although otherwise, normally the shield upgrades against Terran not so great, just because EMP is like, I don't care about your upgrades.
Well, even that, the
sure.
Widow Mines, don't they do damage to bonus damage to shields? Excuse me.
Well, sure, which would get blunted a little bit. So there is that. But
Got a drop coming out here from Zrqkyvx. Heading to this corner of the map.
that is a lot of Colossus. 6 Colossus. This is about where most people would stop. Let's see if he stops there.
It's one Viking
There's 1 Viking. Oh, he's got this.
chasing down the well.
Oh,
he
no,
gave
there's
up.
more Vikings. There's 5 Vikings total.
This Warp Prism is gonna scout the drop before anything else.
Couple drop. War Prism's like, hey, what are you doing?
Changed his mind.
By the way, there are 6 cannons in there. Wow, with only 1 pylon supporting them. And a bunch more cannons past that. Well, I was like, that's going to be probably too much to... Oh, right, 1 pylon.
Yeah. Artosis is in the building.
We'll see if that comes into play. I'm going to have to wait a bit for the drop to actually occur. Another wait here. Nothing much happening yet. I mean, this happens, guys. This is the fabled macro game at the bronze and silver level. You gotta wait a bit, you know? You gotta deal with the little time wasters that happen here and there. You gotta build up your big army. You gotta get those bases when you realize you're about to mine out. Stuff like that, you know. Not as efficient, but it still kind of ends up in the same place eventually at about the 30-minute mark. And in that case, I'm actually drawing from my own experiences at that level. Macro games took a while. They took a long time.
Well, it's like the gentleman's agreement at this point.
Pretty much.
We'll mass up until about 30 minutes.
It's like you... Oh, there we go. We got a couple zealots actually beating on this base down here. Now, the thing is, that actually doesn't affect Zrq at all, really, just because he still only has enough workers to mine from 2 bases. Well, the drop is trying to decide whether to actually occur, and he's just remembered that the drop is there and then sent it back to its location so it can be ready to drop later. Excellent. Meanwhile, at the top of the map, we can see that the army is killing the zealots. Fantastic. Some Marines also died. And now there's a base going down over here that Zrq's SCV
He'll get it. He's
actually
got
did
this.
scout, yes. Yeah, he totally did see that. Very nice.
The army heading in the opposite direction. Oh no, wait. Change your mind.
Well, they're like, there's a base over there and there's nothing to protect him as well, right? So just go pluck that right off the tree. Like, yeah, nice. And then that Warp Prism hopefully will move in at the exact same time into the base. That's what I really want to see. It's also possible that he's just forgotten that that's even really there at this point. So the medevacs are here, and the probes are like, oh crap, we gotta get out of here. Oh. Never mind. So I want to see if he accidentally produces a probe from here while it's dying. I've done this many, many times. Nope. Okay, the drop's like, hey, there's cannons there. Huh. Well, never mind. So, unfortunately, chunks of the army actually can't leave because of that wall off. If you set up a wall off this way, only zealots and probes can walk through there. So, yep. Let's one gateway to a man
Mutiny.
who has 6 Colossus. Needs those 2 Stalkers and that 1 Immortal, man. Can't just walk out without those. Need Wild Templar.
Every time I hear 6 Colossus, I think of that time that Day9 got on with JP. He was telling him what to do on ladder. Did you ever hear about the build?
Yeah.
The
I think there was
build.
also that time when they were playing together and he just got on. He's like, can't we have a win? And they're like, yeah, sure. And their opponents just left.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Now, the thing is, this is actually a great number for Colossus not to go past, because once you go past 6 Colossus, they'll bump into each other in other units and they won't actually attack unless you spread them properly. So this is kind of like your max potential from an A move standpoint. So very nicely done there. A little bit light on the anti-air though, so unless he's gonna get some nice targeting against the Vikings and or some feedbacks on the medevacs here. I think the army from Zrq probably can deal with this if he's careful. It's gonna be tricky.
Well, he is getting stormed too, so that'll be a nice splash image on just about everything, even if the Vikings are caught in there.
One thing which is for sure true though is the Kadwa's still on 2 bases. Zrq's gone up to 3, and he's doing a little bit better. No, I mean, not better. He's actually doing worse in the upgrade department. I think Kadwa realized what happened last time. He's doing a ton better. He has 1-1. He has 1-1, which is an unusual set of numbers to say in the circumstance, but it is there nonetheless. Anyway, here comes a bigger, more army from Zrq. He's now maxed. We should see him consider attacking soon. That is a lot of Vikings. Wow.
He did also scan and kind of see what he was up against, so maybe he's thinking about making a move.
That's gonna basically one-shot the Vikings. Unfortunately, oh my goodness, it's a lot of Archons. He's gone up to 8. The only problem is that a lot of this army, these Zealots can't engage in there. He needs to get out of there. Good. And it looks like Kadwa's just gonna go north. I don't think he realizes that the army's right there. All right, that'll work. I don't know if the floating factory here got wind of that. Yeah, it did, because the entire army from Zrq is starting to move north. Here we go. Kadwa's decided to stop here. Guess he needs his detection.
They pit stop. They have to fill the Colossus back up with gas. They gotta
fuel up.
Yeah. That one probe. Where is that one probe? Bring the gas with the army.
So basically, they're just kind of hanging out up by the like icky food court with the terrible Pizza Hut and
exactly.
Arby's in it.
Can you stop and give me some fries?
Guy's like, yeah.
Really hungry right now.
So Warp Prism's gone up ahead of front of everybody else. He's like, I'm gonna warp this stuff in, and Zrq's gonna attack the base. Okay, base race has begun because this map is too large for you to run back on it. If he tries that, Kadwa's gonna be in some trouble.
Yep, and there's no mothership core for recall. Oh, there is.
Cybernetics core dies immediately. I don't know if he's gonna. It doesn't look like he's actually considering that though. It looks like he just. Oh yes, he's gonna recall with about half of his army, and leave the rest to attack. This could work as long as he actually has enough to deal with this here. The Vikings are pretty much on top of where all the Colossus spawn. They die right.
Terran army is funneled in on the ramp.
Yeah, I think that was probably a big mistake for Kadwa to do that. His army's actually just so like neither of these chunks of army is going to be able to beat this fireball.
And we're back to your prediction of the base race.
Yeah. Well, we are, but there's nothing flying in this group for the Protoss, which means that this is at least a draw. If Zrq plays this correctly, he should be able to lift one thing off, load it to the corner, and the Protoss can't do a thing about that.
I hate that. I've lost several games that way.
Here comes. Well, he's not floating into the corner though. So, if the army can still continue to pick up the buildings until they burn down before he realizes that he can do this, Zrq can lose. That is one way that he can lose, but that's definitely a situation where he's basically throwing it in a sense. So. Yeah, the other part of it too is that there's actually so many buildings with the Protoss here. It might take him a little bit to chew through that. I think half that army is still in the medevacs for some reason. Yep. So there's not as much DPS here as you think. Also, Zrq is actually really spread out. He just has a lot of command centers around. It's going to take a really long time for Kadwa to hunt all these buildings down. Ugh. Yeah, Burnett, I kind of agree with you. I think if he had kept that army together, if nothing else, he would have been able to beat the army that Zrq had. It would have looked a lot more closer.
Much more convincing, yes.